Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm starting my very first reading vlog. I have not done a reading vlog before, but I love watching them. And yeah, you already know what it is by the title. I'm sorry about the shadow and everything. But I decided after almost a decade, I haven't read this book in over a decade, and the release of Midnight Sun coming out in a couple months, I thought it'd be fun to finally reread the Twilight Saga in its entirety, and then also read Life and Death for the first time. And so yeah, this is my reading vlog for Twilight. And this isn't actually my original copy, because I actually read Twilight for the first time early 2008. It was like spring 2008. So I think the first trailer just dropped or something. So this is actually my second actual copy of Twilight, because I needed the movie cover, but this is my tattered version. So I'm kind of nervous because it's been a long time, and of course I still love it and everything, but just how much will I love it is the question. And I'm debating whether to read this copy, which has been well loved, because it's 12 years old now. So I either have this, or I have my special copy of the 10th anniversary edition of Twilight, which has Life and Death with it. Because I haven't decided when I'm going to fit in Life and Death yet. I might wait till the very end, but I think I might take this with me to work, because if I finish reading at work, I can just flip it over and start reading Life and Death. So, because the ending to Life and Death is actually different than the ending to Twilight, so that's really exciting. But yeah, this is just my introduction. I won't start the book till tomorrow, because I'm about to have to go to bed because I do have work. But I just want to let you guys know that the time has come. I'm finally rereading Twilight, and this should be very exciting, very fun. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey guys, I'm here with my first update. It is now June 5th, 2020. It's the day after I announced that I was going to start rereading Twilight. I just started earlier today at work. I only got to read a little bit at work, unfortunately, but I'm only on page 18. And there are some thoughts I wanted to go ahead and get out of the way. I decided I'm going to take notes while I'm reading, which is something I've never done before. But my first thing on here is that starting the book, I can vividly remember reading Twilight for the first time. It was one of the most intense reading experiences of my life, and that's still true now. I remember sitting in Ms. Nolan's class, my 8th grade social studies teacher, sitting at my desk, and I guess it was a Friday, I think, and we didn't have any work to do, so we were just sitting there. And so I had Twilight with me that I got the period or the class before, and that was my English class. And I checked out the book there because a few other people were raving about it. But anyway, so I sat down and I started reading the very first part about, Bella being sent off from Phoenix to Forks. And it just gave me all the feels, very nostalgic, because I can remember sitting there very vividly and didn't want to put the book down as soon as I started, because for some reason, like, it sucks you in. And I ended up finishing the book later that night. And I didn't have New Moon or Eclipse or any of the other books with me. So that was a torturous night. But anyway, so going down the notes, my first one says about how I can remember reading that part so vividly. And okay, here's the thing about Bella, because I feel like Bella gets I don't know, a bad rap. I think that's more because of the movie. I like Kristen Stewart, don't get me wrong, but her version of Bella was not as... Bella's snarky. Like, even the first little glimpses that we have of her in the beginning of the book, because I'm only on like page 18, like I said, Bella's really snarky and she's really sarcastic. And that's something that we didn't really get in the films. She had her moments, but they're kind of played down in a way that it just wasn't inspired, you know? And that's a testament to Stephanie's writing, honestly. I really love some of the one-liners that Bella has in the book about, nothing slows down traffic like a cop. And I don't know, I just really loved Bella. And she's also an old soul, which is something that I really identify with, because Bella doesn't make many friends. Like, it's pretty hard for her to do that. And I highly identify with that because, I have social anxiety. I have anxiety in general. And Bella, at a point, she has social anxiety too. Like, her first day at school is kind of traumatic because, she's meeting new people and she's being forced to do these new things. So I really identify with her in that sense of, not really caring to get to know people, just because you don't like to feel judged. And Bella goes through that through the entire saga. So I really appreciated that. And also Stephanie Meyer's writing, like I kind of touched on it a minute ago, but it's not very flowery. It's very straightforward and it draws you in. It doesn't take any work to read it. Like, you're not trying to sit there and figure out what she's trying to say, because she actually just says it. And that's really refreshing. And I love all the YA books and just books I've read in general since this time, but sometimes they become a little much in terms of writing style. So it's kind of refreshing to go back to a book that's just really bare bones. Not bad in any sense, but just you can just be invested in the story and not have to worry so much about the writing. And what I was trying to do is, in even my copy, I have the movie cast on the cover of this copy. And I'm trying so hard not to picture the movie, because the characters are different. The way that I pictured them when I first read them is different. Honestly, I'm trying to picture, I'll put a picture here, of Young Kim's depictions of Edward and Bella from the Twilight graphic novel, because they are perfect. They are exactly what I pictured when I read them the first time, and I'm trying to picture that now, but it's harder because, I've grown up with these movies and I've seen them hundreds of times, so it's kind of hard not to picture Rob and Kristen at this point. But I'm really working on it. It's really, really hard, but I'm working on it. And the most pivotal scene that we've had so far is the cafeteria scene. See, I'm on page 18. I forgot how quickly we just start the story. And we're on page 18 and we're already meeting or seeing the Cullens for the first time. And that gives me chills. I'm so excited to read this part in Midnight Sun, because we see Bella's perspective here. And she's gawking over how beautiful they are, and they're going down all the descriptions of the Cullens, and I'm just so excited to see Edward's perspective of this, because there's this moment where he's listening to Jessica talk about the Cullens, because Bella asked who they were, and so Jessica's telling Bella. And I remember this from the original manuscript of Midnight Sun, that Edward was listening because he was trying to figure out more about this girl, but then he realized he couldn't hear Bella. So I'm really excited to see that point from his perspective, just because I think it will give us just some more insight into this scene and make it different, But yeah, that's all I have for this update, but I will definitely be reading more. And hopefully I'll get this done this weekend. I don't have much to do, so I think I'm going to try and just read this bad boy this weekend and give you guys my final thoughts by the end of the weekend. But yeah, I'm on page 18, and I still love this book. It gets a lot of bad rap, but we'll keep going and see if my opinion changes. But I don't think it's going to. But all right, this is my first update. I'll see you guys for my second one. Okay, once again, sorry about my hair, but we're just gonna blow through this. So I just read the chapter where Bella goes to La Push with all of her friends and runs into Jacob, and we get to hear the scary stories. Yeah, I'm not a Jacob fan. He's really innocent here, so you know what, it's fine, but I really don't like Jacob. Maybe this reread of the saga will give me a better appreciation of him, but for now, I still don't like Jacob. But, you know, we did get a clue as to what the Cullens are, so I'm just like, because Bella like takes it so seriously. Like, I think even if I was suspecting Edward of being something, I don't know, my mind wouldn't go to vampire, you know. So I'm just a little surprised that she would even consider like that to be a concrete answer, because there's obviously something going on. But vampire wouldn't be my first clue. But whatever. I mean, Bella is a lot smarter than I was at that age. So what do I know? Hey guys, I'm back with another update. Finally, I didn't read any yesterday. Again, sorry guys, this is taking a lot longer than I was expecting, but you know, I'm trying not to read when I don't feel like it, because then I don't end up liking the parts of the book that I'm reading at that time. So I'm only reading whenever it calls to me. So I actually got to read quite a bit at work today. And see, I'm trying to think where we left off. Essentially, Bella went to Port Angeles with Jessica and Angela to go look for dresses for the dance. And, you know, this very classic Twilight scene. Bella gets attacked by these predators. And Edward, you know, comes to save the day. And, you know, very classic Twilight scene. And, you know, I mean, you know from the movie, this is a very famous scene from the film. Edward rescues Bella, and then they go to Bella Italia, which is one of my favorite scenes. Just because, once again, we have like a very bantery conversation that I love. It really sets up the romance very, very well, I think. I was smiling like an idiot while reading it. I just know I was. And then after that, you know, we have our car scene where Bella tells Edward that she knows that he's a vampire. And once again, very lovely piece of bantery dialogue between Edward and Bella that should have been in the movies. This whole scene was dramatized in a very emo way in the Twilight film. And I love the scene, but it's like, I like it the way it was done better in the book, I think. Just because everything, once again, I will reiterate, is not so serious all the time. And it's not so angsty all the freaking time. So that's good. I enjoyed that aspect of this scene very much. And, you know, Edward and Bella are now together. And the part that I left out, or that I left out, was the first day of school the next day. And she just had her conversation with Jessica about what this is between her and Edward. And yeah, I'm getting a lot of feelings. So many feelings. Okay, I'll be back for another update, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I am still reading, and I'm having a blast. I'm having a really good time. Guys, this book, I'm getting all the feelings I had when I read this the first time. I love this book so much. I think it holds up still. There's some, you know, questionable things, sure, but overall, I love this book. I I love like the awkward beginning stages of dating that are put into here. Like the days where Edward comes and picks Bella up to go to school. I'm like, I'm so here for it. I'm here for it. I love it. Let's see, I'm on page 226 now. And that's my biggest takeaway right now is I love the foundation of Edward and Bella's relationship. I know a lot of people give the Twilight series a lot of flack for quote unquote abusive relationship, and it's just hard for me to see. Maybe it's because I never experienced it, but yes, Edward is a little intense, but he doesn't seem abusive or manipulative to me in any way. We'll see in Eclipse. Eclipse is like really the only time that I can see this, but once again, I'll be rereading the saga, so more thoughts on that to come. But so far, like I'm loving it still. It's still one of my favorite books of all time, and I don't care if you hate Twilight. I don't. I always will love Twilight. It has a special place in my heart. It really brought me a love of reading, and right now I'm just really having a great time reinvesting myself in this world. And we're almost to the meadow scene. I'm on chapter 11 right now, and chapter 13 is the meadow scene, so which of course is my favorite chapter in the book, just because it's so iconic and there's so much going on. But yeah, I'm having a blast reading this book, and I'm gonna keep reading. So I'll see you guys on my next update. Hey guys, I'm back for another update. It hasn't been very long, but I love this conversation. It's one of my favorite conversations in this book. It's page 232 and 233. Edward is just trying to get to know Bella more, and he just asked her a ton of questions. And it's that conversation where he talks about the time of day of it being twilight. And he says, "It's twilight," Edward murmured, looking at the western horizon, obscured as it was with the clouds. His voice was thoughtful, as if his mind were somewhere far away. I stared at him as he gazed unseeingly out the windshield. I was still staring when his eyes suddenly shifted back to mine. It's the safest time of day for us, the easiest time, but also the saddest in a way. The end of another day, the return of the night. Darkness is so predictable, don't you think? He smiled wistfully. And I love what Bella says. She says, "I like the night. Without the dark, we never see the stars." I love that. Hey guys, I'm back with another update of my reread of Twilight. I'm almost done. So I got a bunch of reading done today at work, and it was easy because it was my favorite parts of the novel. The big stuff that have happened recently is the meadow scene, so chapter 13 of Twilight, which is my favorite chapter pretty much in the entire book, but it might be my favorite chapter in the entire saga. Although the first 10 chapter in Breaking Dawn is fantastic, and I can't wait to reread that. So yeah, my feelings for this book so far haven't wavered. They haven't changed, which is surprising because I was honestly expecting a more negative reaction to it, which is ridiculous because I know the story and I know how much I love it and how much it means to me. So I'm actually really happy with my reread. I'm having the best time reading it. I'm going back to the meadow scene, which is my favorite scene in Twilight. It's just so beautifully written. I love there's so much tension in this scene, romantic tension and dangerous tension. It's just, I think it's so perfectly balanced. I think Stephanie really shows her writing skills here, and really makes you feel like you're so invested in these characters and you're so invested in this story. And I believe it. I believe every second. I believe every word that they're saying. I love that Edward and Bella declare themselves in a very very old-fashioned way. I mean, there are some cheesy lines, of course, like the lion lamb quote, which is classic Twilight. It's pretty cheesy, but you roll with it because the story is just captivating you completely. And we just had the baseball scene, which is also iconic. And I was just picturing the movie the entire time during the baseball scene, because I think they did that amazingly in the film. I remember watching that because I went to the midnight premiere for Twilight back all the way back in 2008, and I remember seeing that scene and thinking like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Going back to the meadow scene and bringing up the movie, and I'm sorry I bring up the movie a lot, but like that was like, it's been almost 10 years since I've actually read the book, but I've seen the movie many times since its release. So I know the movie pretty well. I think the meadow scene in the movie, there's tension, but it's not the right kind of tension or the tension that I wanted. I still love it, and it's probably my favorite scene in the Twilight movie still, but it's so broody. And the meadow scene is broody, but there's lightheartedness there that I think the movie missed out on. And that's my big critique of the movie, thinking about it and after rereading the book, is that Twilight has such heart and such lightheartedness in it, and I think the movie would have benefited that a lot, because they really focused on the teen angst, and I understand why, but I don't think that was the smartest decision. And a lot of the lighter stuff was cut from the movie. So, I mean, I guess I can always watch the extended versions, which are my favorite ways to watch the Twilight films now. I love all the extended versions. But yeah, so going back to the meadow scene, there's just so much tenderness there. And I was feeling all giddy and I had butterflies in my stomach. And once again, it was like the first time reading it all over again. I'm just having the best time reading this. I will definitely finish this tomorrow and hopefully move on to New Moon this weekend. New Moon will be a chore to get through, because it's my least favorite book in the saga, because it's a very Jacob heavy book and I'm not a big fan of Jacob. Hopefully my mind will change and I can move past all his flaws, because he has a lot of flaws and I have a lot of issues with Jacob. But hopefully I can see past that and just appreciate him for what he is and what he adds to the story. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And once again, the meadow scene was great, and I love the piggyback scene after of Edward taking Bella and running through the forest. I love the depiction of this in the graphic novel. I'll put a picture here so you guys can see. But I love the expressions on their faces. I just think it's perfect. And that's exactly what I was imagining while reading the scene, was from the graphic novel, which I love. So yeah, I'm loving all the cutesy conversations. I love that they're very open with each other. And it's really nice to finally see Edward come out of his shell, and can be completely himself, which is something he hasn't been able to do in a long time. So you really feel for Edward, and you really, at least I do, really root for him and his happiness. And the thing is, it's like, maybe I'm rationalizing his behavior, but yes, he is a little overprotective and he is pretty intense, but I can understand why. Like, this is all brand new to him. He doesn't know how to react. He's never been in love before, and he's trying to show how much he cares by protecting her and just wanting what's best for her, but he doesn't show it in the best ways, and that's a learning process. So I feel like this book gets so much controversy, and it's not warranted. Like, you're coming at it from such an awful angle, and you're not giving the characters their credit by thinking about what it took for them to get here, And the same thing with Bella. Like, Bella's not a damsel in distress. I feel like she's a pretty strong character. She's very assertive, and she knows what she wants, and she goes after her for what she wants. And just because that happens to be a man or a boy doesn't make it any less important. Like, why should we be judging her for following her heart and wanting to pursue a relationship that she wants? Like, I don't understand. Like, yes, it's not like, yes, Edward takes over her life, but it's not her entire life. She tries to make room for other people, but it's just hard whenever you're in love and you want to spend time with that person. That's what first love is all about. It's a learning experience. And by the time we get to Breaking Dawn, they've been through so much together that I think it really works, and you can see the growth in their relationship. So I get really defensive about Twilight. I don't feel like it deserves all the negative controversy that it gets. But anyway, rant over. Yeah, so we're James, Victoria, and Laurent are about to show up, and we're about to get to the climactic scenes of Twilight. So I'll be back with probably my last update, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts at the end of the video. So stay tuned. Hey guys, so I finally finished reading Twilight today. I finished it this morning and let it process and let it digest, and I'm actually watching the movie. I'm taking a break from watching the movie just so I want to get this done. But yeah, so the final part, of course, was the climax with, James stalking Bella and trying to kill her. And then, of course, Bella gets rescued. But we don't only get to see anything that happens in the ballet studio. Hopefully we'll get a lot more of that in Midnight Sun, which is so exciting. So my final thoughts on Twilight. My opinions on it haven't changed after 12 years, 13 years after reading it for the first time. My opinion has not changed. I still adore it. I think it's a phenomenal book. It makes you feel everything. And I hate that Stephanie Meyer gets a lot of negative press about her in this series. And she grows so much as an author throughout the series. Like the contrast between Twilight and The Host, for example, is staggering. And I think Midnight Sun might be the best book she's ever written, just because she's come so far as an author at this point. But I love Twilight. I will always love Twilight. I think that if you don't like it, you have every right to not enjoy it and not like it. But there's millions upon millions of people who this book meant a lot to and still means a lot to. And I think that's a testament to how special this story actually is. I love these characters so much. They've been with me for many years now. And it was nice to revisit them in their book format. Because once again, like I said, I've seen the movie so many times. But it's nice to go back to the roots. This was almost reading it for the first time. Almost. Of course, I've read it multiple times. But since it's been so long, I've found new enjoyment and new love for it. And this is such a special experience. And I'm glad that I was able to catalog a lot of it here. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm starting New Moon soon, and I'll be vlogging New Moon. So that's very exciting. And yeah, let me know below if you're excited for Midnight Sun. If you love Twilight, if you plan on rereading it. Let me know your favorite parts below. I think my favorite scene in the book is still the meadow. But I also really love the scenes after the meadow, where Bella and Edward are talking in his room. I love that conversation very much. So, yes, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys with my next video. Bye.